What's up, guys? Thanks for watching Leg Life. We're continuing our 2016 Disney Challenge today by watching the 13th movie in our challenge. And that movie is
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Written in 1865 by Lewis Carroll. Walt Disney's actually was just one of many adaptations actually of this.
There's like 30 adaptations.
Yeah, this is like a super famous story that lots of people have tried. Obviously Walt Disney's stood the test of time. Super famous. Sherry, what else do you know about this movie?
Well, when it was released in 1951, it was actually a failure, as a lot of the films were.
Seems like a lot of Walt's early movies were failures.
It became popular in the 60s, again with a psychedelic feel. I don't feel like that's actually a shock.
No, I do remember back in my drug use days, this was one of those movies that kind of everybody talked about and everybody watched when they were high.
This is weird.
Because it is weird. Like, this is a movie that I don't even know. Like, it is pretty strange.
It is.
You know, Walt actually wanted to turn Alice into a movie from the time that he was 21 years old back in 1923. This was something that Walt always had his eye on. It just took a while to make it happen. And
he did actually do a series of animated shorts with animation and live action in his early Walt Disney Productions days.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously this became the full-length feature. So, here we go. Alice in Wonderland. So, Sherry and I were just talking about Alice. Probably one of, if not the most famous female Disney characters that is not a princess, actually. Would you say, Sherry?
Yep. Agreed. We've seen her a lot in a lot of the parks.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, Alice memorabilia. There's all sorts of, like, there's a lot of Alice stuff, but obviously not one of the Disney princess. So one of the things that we read that's kind of interesting is that Alice in Wonderland actually has more original individual songs than any other Disney movie. It has 14 songs. In fact, it was nominated for original score, but it actually lost out to An American in Paris. So this song is called The Walrus and the Carpenter, and most of you probably don't know, there is a delicious oyster bar in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle named after the song, called The Walrus and the Carpenter.
So Lewis Carroll is the author of Alice in Wonderland, and his real name was actually Charles Lutwidge Dodgson, and he stuttered and had difficulty pronouncing his own last name, so he would simply call himself the Dodo, and so this character, he actually based off of himself. So
obviously throughout the movie, the White Rabbit is always talking about how he is late, and every time they show his clock, just like in this scene here, the clock is always set on 12:25. So this is interesting. Obviously there's not a lot of mistakes, at least that we know of in Disney movies, but this is one right here. The whole rest of the movie and all the other scenes, the caterpillar's colors are actually inverted from what you see here. He's blue with a light blue belly. But here, it's the exact opposite. They say that in this one scene, he was colored wrong. So I kept saying Cheshire Cat. Sherry said it was Cheshire Cat.
I was right. Sherry
was right. Well, obviously, the Mad Hatter is one of the most known and popular characters in the Alice story. And on his hat, he has the famous 10-6 tag. Not a lot of people know what that means. That actually is just the price. The way that's written would have meant 10 shillings and a sixpence.
Okay, so this is the funny fact about this scene. Right here, the Mad Hatter is trying to fix the White Rabbit's watch. And it says, during a break in the recording sessions, Ed Wynn, who is the Mad Hatter, ad-libbed this speech, and Walt Disney overheard it and realized that it was actually recording, and he said, hey, that's funny, you should just use that. And the sound techs were like, but there's all this background noise, like it wasn't, you know, clean. And he just said, well, that's your problem, and walked away. And he made them figure out how to use it in the movie.
And that is the end of Alice in Wonderland.